All right. It's the best time of the week once again.
Yes, it is. It is time for all of your favorites wrestling podcasts to be recorded.
Yeah, I guess so. Or, we could say we're unbiased and be on the NXT pre-show, be like those guys.
Oh, yeah.
But
No, thank you.
that's neither here nor there. Welcome, guys, to the latest episode of Off the Top Rope.
Yes, sir. You all know how this starts. If you're not following already, please follow the Twitter at TAGPW Podcast. Eventually, we're going to be going to like Blue Sky. We might go over to Spill, where the black folks are, hang out a little bit over there. Maybe we'll do some in Threads. We'll probably be around TikTok. But for right now, if you're not already, please follow the Twitter. Again, at TAGPW Podcast.
And if you guys like this episode of the podcast, please, please, please hit that like button. And if you really, really like us, which I know you do, which is why you're listening right now, hit that subscribe button so you can watch all of our content. Every week we bring out an episode off the top rope, and we also cover games and anime too. So we got a little bit of something for everybody, but our main thing is going to be off the top rope. That will be every week. So hit the subscribe button and hit that bell so you get notified whenever we put something up.
And now we can officially say that because at this point, we actually have done all the podcasts that we said we're going to do, which is a nice feeling.
But
y'all know what this is. This is the wrestling podcast Off the Top Rope. We are going to be talking about AEW this week. And off the top, a lot of people have been real crazy about this week of AEW. Proffitt, before we get into the full breakdown, do you have any thoughts about this week in AEW?
Okay. So, I liken this week to AEW to like a week of, and I've said it in the past, if you listen to the past episodes, like the TNA episodes where we review that, it's a solid, I'll say a solid week for AEW. Just solid wrestling week. Wasn't anything too crazy, but there also wasn't anything like, super spectacular, right? Like, it was just a solid week of wrestling. There's nothing else I could say other than that. But yeah. So yeah, for the people being super weird, they're looking for reason to be assholes. The real thing is, it's just a solid episode of AEW. That's it. It's all set up for the next few weeks.
Yeah, like you're not going to be able to have 10 out of 10 shows all the time. You can't be New Japan and have a Wrestle Kingdom quality show every time that you do something, right? You can't be WWE and have like a WrestleMania quality show every time you do a show. Like, it's just not realistic. So I don't fully understand why that expectation has been put on AEW, but like Proffitt said, it was an alright week. It wasn't super crazy. There were a couple things that were really good, but
yeah,
there was nothing like awful. There was nothing that, well, there was one thing that was awful, but like there was nothing that really like made me like want to turn off the TV. So, just remember, it's wrestling. It's a habit. If you don't like a week, that is totally fine, but please do not act like the sky is falling. Every company everywhere has slower weeks. It's just the nature of life. If you have a problem with it, you can find something else to do. You don't have to do it. Just chill out. It's all good. Tranquilo. It's fine.
People don't know how to do that.
Especially on the internet right now, bro. It's like a war zone every time for some obvious reasons, like y'all make sure y'all go vote, speaking of which. But it's just like, why the internet's just wild. It's been wild, but for the last like year, it's just been people just drawing at each other. People get angry. people have like wild opinions and just it can be a lot. We did a episode and we ranted about this before.
Yeah, yeah. Check it out. It's the first off the cuff episode we did. First and only.
I have to remember put the card right here. The card will be up here. You will be able to see it somewhere.
Yeah. All right, man. So you ready to get into that AEW Dynamite?
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
Okay. Let's get into it. So, all right, man. So right at the start of the show, you pretty much saw most of the AEW roster outside waiting for Moxley to come in.
Mm-hmm.
Moxley and crew, BCC. You had John Silver with nunchucks. Even Big Sat was out there. Uh, everybody was out there. Private Party was out there. Daniel Garcia, even though they had a match that night, everybody was looking to beat the hell out of the BCC. But it's one of those things. It had that old school feel to it too, because there was a few times that happened on old WWF and WCW where the whole locker room was waiting for somebody to get there so they could beat the shit out of them. So we went from that to the start of the show, which was Tony Schiavone. He was standing in the ring, ready to interview the main character of AEW, Hangman Adam Page. So, Hangman Adam Page gets in the ring. He talks about, he's pretty much like, yeah, I screwed up Jay White's match last week. He took his damn head off. And he was also talking about how what is it, Colton Gunn? No, not Colton Gunn, Austin Gunn. He beat him so bad that he's probably still, he probably won't come back for a while. And right as he said that, Colton Gunn jumped in the ring, and him and Adam Page started fighting. Adam Page eventually got the upper hand and was about to choke him with his belt. And then Jay White came to the ring, and Adam Page rolled out and limped outside the ring.
Mm-hmm. It looked like he messed up his knee. Like I think when Colton jumped on his back, it might have like his knee looked like it buckled a little bit. Apparently it's not too bad though. He's just, I guess he's at home rehabbing. I don't think it's something super crazy, but prayers up, Hangman.
Yeah. And shit, Hangman has to step back a little bit, and he could do other things to mess people up. He could just show up every week and beat somebody up in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And just hang him with his belt every week. They don't have to fight back. Just let Hangman just beat everybody up. That's what's going to happen. So pretty much like right after that, Jay White was like, "Hey, he's like, well, where are you going, man? Like, you wanted to fight, right? You ruined my stuff last week. So you know what? Now you're in my crosshairs. Now I'm coming for you." So, pretty much from that segment, Jay White is going for Hangman Adam Page. He'll be in his ass all these next few weeks, probably this next month, because Jay White doesn't stop, and Hangman doesn't stop.
Yep.
So yeah, I can see this lasting for a few months.
We have I guess we could talk about it on Collision a little bit more, but we do have the next match between those two set already.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, is it on Friday night, or is it the next Collision?
No, it's gonna be at Full Gear. It's a pay-per-view match.
Full Gear. Oh,
yeah, dog. So we got a few weeks before it happens.
Nice. Okay, even better. So right after that, we start with the first match of the night. Sammy Guevara. I'm not going to call him the Spanish God.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
And the Golden Standard himself, Shelton Benjamin.
What is he now? He's like the standard of excellence. He gets announced as
Yeah.
in AEW.
Yep, the standard of excellence.
Hell yes.
Man, once again, Shelton Benjamin showing why he is the standard of excellence. And man, he beat the shit out of Sammy Guevara, dude. When he went into one point in the match, this was during picture in picture.
Mm-hmm.
He was literally slamming. He took Sammy and he was uh, throwing him against the ring rails. Not the ring rails, but the guardrails.
Mm-hmm.
He throws Sammy to the guardrail, and then he'll throw him on the side of the ring, and then he kept doing that, like back and forth. And he was doing that pretty much all of the commercial break. But it was a picture in picture. And man, of course, there's only one result that's going to be here. Shelton Benjamin won.
Of course.
With his awesome power slam, suplex power slam thing. I don't know what they're going to call it. I'll just call it the standard.
It looks sick as fuck, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, man, that shit looks dope as hell. But man, like, it was pretty much like Shelton Benjamin was toying with him. He would let Sammy get some offense and things like that, but then he would just fuck him up right after that.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened quite a few times. And then MVP got frustrated at him. He was like, "Yo, quit playing." You can hear him go, "Quit playing with your food. Quit playing with your food. Finish him already." And Sammy came back one too many times, and then Shelton Benjamin was like, "All right, I'm just gonna end it." He just suplexed the shit out of him and just ended it. So, immediately right after this, the hardest working woman in AEW, Renee Paquette. If you're backstage, she's going to get you.
Mm-hmm.
She caught up with Mariah May. And Mariah May had it looked like she was leaving the arena, but she wasn't. She had some luggage, and it wasn't her luggage. And when Renee was asking her whose luggage is it, she was like, "It belongs to Anna Jay. It doesn't belong to me." And she's like, "Anna Jay doesn't belong in the locker room anymore." She pretty much kicked her out of the locker room and picked up her luggage and tossed it, and all of her shit flew out.
Yeah, take that, Miz.
She got mizzed. And Anna Jay popped right up, and then they started fighting. And of course, we had to have, Christopher Daniels jump up and say, "Not right now. You got a title match." It's like, dude, come on, man. Like, just throw her shit out there. Come on, man.
Look, I can tell you one thing. I know Christopher Daniels loves his job. Like,
yep.
We don't see Christopher Daniels anytime in these shows unless he's breaking up fights between Mariah May and Anna Jay.
Yeah.
It's the only time we see this motherfucker. And he must be having the time of his life. I'm just gonna be real. I get it.
Oh man. Ah, God. Christopher Daniels.
This
living it up right now.
He's living the life, I'm telling you. He's living the life. But this Mariah May was one of my favorite people this week on AEW TV. It was Ricochet, Shelton Benjamin, Mariah May, and Kyle Fletcher were my 4 favorite people on AEW TV this week. And just it feels like Mariah has kind of cranked things up to 11 right now. Like
Yes.
like ever since she wrestled Willow, she's just kind of gone crazy. Like, her promos they were already good. Like, I'm not saying that she was bad at anything she was doing, but her promos have gotten a lot better. I think she wrestled a match in I don't know, she didn't wrestle a match, but every time she's been on TV, she's been like great. She's been good on commentary. I'm thinking commentary is what I'm thinking. She was great on commentary. Like, she's just elevated herself again somehow, and she was already great. It's just sky's the limit for her. I'm really happy with what she was doing.
Yeah, man. Like, she completely, I don't know, like it's like she was already at a high level and then she went higher than that higher level.
It's wild.
It's just like, damn, like she's like literally telling in her promos now. It went from, she's, bringing glamour and all that stuff to like, no, I'm the fucking best. I'm going to show you that there's levels to this. She pretty much was like saying, I think it was Rampage. It was either Rampage or Collision. She was pretty much saying, telling Anna Jay, there's levels to this shit that I'm
Oh,
about to show you.
the collision promo.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
It's like, yeah, there's levels to this shit. You ain't there yet, and I'm going to show you.
God bless. Like, it's just, I don't know where this is coming from either. Like, this is, I feel like she's obviously, because she did it so quickly right away, she's always had it in her. But the fact that she is doing it, and like you already said, she was already on such a high level, and not just because she's a champion, she's carried herself really well as a champion. Now, it's just like, I don't know. It just, she's just on another level right now, and it's just really dope to see.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things where you see people like when they find it, when they finally got it,
Mm-hmm.
they find whatever thing. I don't know what it is. They either get a piece of advice or they just find something and they're like, "Oh, that's it. This is what I need to do."
Yeah.
And then they do it and then they crank it up. Like they find it and they crank it up and it just goes over so well. That is pretty much what happened with Mariah May.
You know what? I'm gonna thank Willow for this, because like, but before the Willow match, again, like we said, she was already great. We're not saying that she was never good, but she was like kind of, still being like the Tony Storm stuff, and still kind of doing like little thing in the ring, and she was kind of like soft on her promos, but she was still talk her shit, but she was kind of soft. She wrestles Willow, and then is like, I want competition. I need more people. Like, so, just another reason why Willow is one of the greats in not only the women's division, but in AEW. That inspiration.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's a funny thing, right? What Willow gives is like a clear line,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, it's not like two tweeners wrestling. Willow is always the good guy. Like, it's the clear line. There's Willow, who's always good, who's always like, if it was like a superhero thing, she's always the hero.
Mm-hmm.
She's, whatever, the protagonist. You have to be her antagonist. You have to be the bad guy. And since Willow is already cranked up to like 20, how good she is as a face, you have to equally crank yourself up to 20 as a heel. So in order to stand out against that, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
because if you don't, you kind of get like overshadowed in a way. It's kind of like when we were, the match between Willow and Mercedes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mercedes had to like turn the other way because there's it is not fucking possible for people to boo Willow. It's just not.
No, it's not gonna happen. Like,
It's not happening.
we saw with Chris Statlander, right? Like, Chris Statlander turned on Willow, right? So obviously she was gonna be the heel. She was gonna be the bad guy. Like, that just was gonna happen. They fit Willow and Stat finished their feud. It is now over. Immediately, Chris went back to being a face. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
now she's up against Mercedes. So like, it is, you're not, like you said, you're not going to put Willow in the other camp. It's just not gonna happen.
No, you can't.
Plus Willow is so good in the ring and so good at what she does that when you wrestle her, and if you are not at 100%, if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing in that ring, she's gonna blow you out of the water. Like, that's just how it's gonna be. Because I mean, look who she's wrestling. You know what I mean? Willow's been wrestling Mercedes, Chris Statlander. She's been wrestling like Julia Hart when Julia Hart was getting better, like Sky Blue, and now Mariah May. Like Willow is not only just a good force in AEW, she is now, I guess, the litmus test. Like if you can't get a good match with Willow, probably should go ahead and work on your craft at that point.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like, but it actually is funny. It's like you can't get a good match with Willow or Chris Statlander.
Yeah, that's one too. Yeah.
Either of those two. Like, if you can't get a good match with either of those two, a lot of times that person is not a lot of times, about 100% of the time, that person is the problem.
I'm slowly putting Queen Aminata in that tier too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna talk about it. Hold on. Let's get to the rest of the show real quick because we'll talk about it.
Oh yeah, we're sitting here gushing. Yeah, let's move on.
But okay, so right after the Mariah May segment, we have the Don Callis family with Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher, and I've said it. I don't know how many times I've said it. Just go back and watch the videos. You'll hear me say it over and over again. I'm gonna have to clip this shit someday and just put it up as shorts. But Kyle Fletcher has improved so fucking much, man.
Mm-hmm.
On the mic, in the ring, he's insane now. The promo he cut during the segment, which was, is him cutting a promo, is pretty much like, you could kind of feel it. It was like, yo, man, like all these people put me in your shadow. His shadow. I'm talking about Will Ospreay. We're talking about Will Ospreay.
Mm-hmm.
They put him in the shadow. They're like, the only way for pretty much what he said was the only way for me to get out of your shadow is stop being anything like you. So, and this also stems from people say Kyle Fletcher looks like Ospreay, which doesn't, but
even with the hair, I never got it. It's been like that for years too. Like I've been watching Fletcher since like 2021, whenever he showed up in New Japan. They've been saying that since. I never understood it, but
yeah. So he's like, the only way for me to stop calling me you and stop comparing me to you is for me to look nothing like you. So he cut them locks, man.
Bro.
Don Callis handed him the fucking the clippers, and he cut that hair off, and he had half the hair on, half the hair off, and he was like, "Yo, I am nothing like you." He fucking yelled, "I am nothing like you," and he's pretty much he's like, "Yo, I'm calling your ass out." And there was some other shit he sprinkled in there too. He was sprinkling in like, hey, every time you got certain opportunities, you just fucking up and left.
I mean, it's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
I mean, Ospreay went from Rev Pro, he got a big base in Rev Pro, right? He wrestled that match with Okada, went to New Japan, and stayed in New Japan for 8 years, and then, moved on again. I mean, it's not. I mean, but so did Kyle Fletcher. Neither here nor there, but
So did Kyle Fletcher. It kind of followed him. Actually, they left first.
Yeah.
Kyle Fletcher and I always forget the other guy's name.
Mark Davis.
They left first. They were the first ones in AEW.
Yeah, they've been at AEW for almost a year.
Yeah, so they left first. Yeah, you don't think people remember that, do you, Kyle Fletcher? Huh?
Mm-hmm. We know things over here.
We remember.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, he's and he's pretty much at the end saying, "Hey, I'm gonna drop you on your head with the Tiger Driver 91." I'm like, oh, shit.
Bro.
Okay, Kyle.
Oh my god. It's just yeah, that whole promo was, it was really good. There was a point where the crowd was like chanting "Wrap it up," which was hilarious. And then he turns to them and says, "Don paid to get me this time. I'm gonna talk for as long as I want." I was like, "Oh, he's fucking comfortable. He's comfortable."
Yep. Actually, that's like a way to handle like fucking asshole crowds like that.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't going nowhere. Shut the hell up.
As much as I was not, I guess not a fan is not the right terms. Like, I was very disappointed when Kyle turned on Osprey. We got
Yeah.
this. That makes it worth it. Plus, look, I can't be talking about people's hairlines, but going forward to Collision, we get to see like Kyle Fletcher with his hair actually like buzzed, right?
Yeah.
Oh, bro, that hairline was pushing back. So I think it was he had that Vegeta hairline kind of going on, right? So I think it was a very good call for him to just get ahead of it, just buzz it. Uh, but yeah, it was impactful. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Yeah. It was definitely impactful, man. Like, you know, it was a good promo. If you guys haven't watched it, I suggest take a few minutes to watch it. It was good. It
Mm-hmm.
was really good. But yeah, I can't wait to see how this goes between Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay.
We're supposed to have that face to face this week, right? So we'll see if that happens.
Yep. So right after this, Renee caught up with Ricochet. I I can't help but to laugh every time. It's like she finds everybody.
She do be like running around. It feels like she's runs around the entire arena.
Yeah. So um so she caught up with Ricochet and Ricochet was pretty much like, hey, I told you guys I'm gonna show up everywhere that Takeshita shows up with that title. And he shouted out Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. He showed up there and you know what? He's like, you know what, guys? I'm here. I'm looking for a fight. So I'm calling anyone out this Friday on Collision. Because, he's in a terrible mood, bad resolve, and he wants to kick somebody's ass. um but right after that, we got MVP and Shelton Benjamin. They kind of interrupted him. And he's like, hold on. He's like, all right, you don't need to get defensive right now. He's like, it's a new company, new chapter. Let's start off fresh. And of course, him MVP being the hustler that he is, must have 1 million of those cards. Where's my card, MVP?
Bro, I'm
Shit.
saying.
Yo, where's off the top ropes card, MVP?
We would join.
Shit. Call it Hurt Business Radio. Come on, man. Hurt Syndicate Radio. Sorry, not the Hurt Business. We ain't gonna align ourselves with that other company. Hurt Syndicate.
We haven't been able to say their name a lot. It's gonna happen sometimes.
Yeah. But yeah, he handed him a card and then walked away. But MVP, like online, also, here's the interesting thing. He talked about how in the beginning, when they were doing the Hurt Business in WWE, he wanted Ricochet in there
Mm-hmm.
as part of the Hurt Business. But they were like, no, you either get Ricochet or Cedric Alexander. And they ended up choosing Alexander, and that's the way it went. But originally they wanted both Cedric Alexander and Ricochet.
Hmm.
And the way Ricochet's being all aggressive and shit like that now, you never know.
I mean, I, I right now, I can see it happening too. I think right now Ricochet, not needs is not the right word either, but it's nice to see Ricochet kind of do his own thing and
Yeah.
be his own man. And but at some point we need to see somebody that gets one of those cards go with MVP. He's been handing those cards out for a month. No one else has been with them yet. So we need to see someone move over.
I feel like if I were to guess, right, Leo Rush
Mm-hmm.
is probably going to be one of them because you'll have that combo of Leo Rush and Bobby Lashley again.
Oh, we're gonna be talking about Leo Rush a little bit later because that seems very valid with how he wrestled on Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Um, I could kind of right now. I don't see Ricochet doing it unless something happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
So say like during the match when he finally gets the match with Takeshita, and say he ends up losing because the Don Callis family jumps in, he'll end up calling up the Hurt Syndicate to back him up, and then eventually he joins, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I would see that happening. But you never know. Like there's other people too. Like they can collaborate with STP,
I'm
which would
wait.
be dope as well.
I'm waiting for that one actually. Now that Shane Taylor's been on TV a little bit more often, I'm waiting.
Uh-huh.
I'm waiting for that interaction.
Yeah, man. That shit would be sick. But yeah, there's plenty of avenues. There's plenty of things. I think eventually you're gonna see MVP show up everywhere. He'll be on Ring of Honor. He'll be like he might hand out the cards to the judge and I forgot his tag team partner.
Oh shit! Now I don't remember either.
But I can see him handing out a card to those two. I can see him handing out cards to the infantry. Like I can see him just handing them out, just appearing everywhere just to hand them out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that'll be interesting when it happens. Like somebody finally joins.
I feel like we're gonna get a good idea after this week's Fright Night Dynamite.
Uh-huh.
I feel like probably either someone that has one of the cards is gonna show up, or somebody else who technically isn't in the company yet but allegedly signed might also show up. I don't know, but we'll see what happens on Wednesday maybe.
Yeah. We're gonna see if he's the destroyer or yeah. He's probably gonna be the destroyer again, which God help everybody.
Look, if Lashley does show up, and like it's been reported that he has signed a contract. We
Yes.
don't know if it's true or not. Like no one, it's a report, right? But if we do get Lashley back, I need that. I need headband Lashley. I need Destroyer Lashley. He needs to be
Yeah.
wearing the headband at all times, and I'll be good.
Yeah. We need destroyer Bobby Lashley. That the one that was in TNA, like murdering people.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, look, if he shows up with the headband, we know what time he's on. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. No, yeah. People are done. Just like this next match.
Oh no.
You already know. The Don Callis families, Murder Hawk Monster, Lance Archer, and the Machine Brian Cage. They didn't even give these guys names, bro.
Yeah.
They just say two local competitors.
Even in the summary, they don't have a name. I don't even remember if they said that. I don't even remember if they said it on AEW TV. They might not have.
They're like, no, they had names, but shit, I don't fucking remember them, dude. Like,
Yeah, whatever.
they even flashed their names up because they died so quick.
Yeah, rest in peace to them. It was rough.
Match starts pretty much. Archer runs over, murders one of them, and like tosses him out the ring. And Brian Cage like is just sitting there killing the other one. That's pretty much what happened. And then they did their to the ridiculous finish. Brian Cage gets him in the powerbomb, and Lance Archer puts his hand on their neck, and it's like a chokeslam powerbomb combo thing. And then that was it. Archer pinned him. This match was like a minute 30 seconds, if that.
Yeah. In wrestling math, that powerbomb chokeslam combo probably has like 8 times the force of a normal powerbomb or a chokeslam. So, people will die once they take that.
Yeah, no, they're done.
Wrestling math.
So like new tag team. I can't wait to see like more of their matches, especially like they get like in the higher competition and stuff like that. I can't wait to see more of that. But again, I'm happy because Lance Archer is back. The second he got with the Don Callis family, look, he's on TV now. He should have been on TV the past few years, but now he's on there.
They're gonna be good first challengers for a certain team that we will be talking about a little bit later.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
We'll talk about it when we get there.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Okay. Let's get to the match of the night.
Don't do that.
I knew you'd say that.
I couldn't let that one slide. I just couldn't. There was no way.
So the next match we got is the Conglomeration's Mark Briscoe versus the Learning Tree Chris Jericho. Hey, this was a hard-hitting match. Briscoe did all kinds of things to Jericho. I think he damn near killed Jericho like 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
There was one time when he jumped off the top of the ladder onto Jericho, crashed through a table. Jericho bounced off the table, like slid off, and his head hit the ladder. He just like flew and hit the ladder. Oh fuck. Oh, that shit. Jericho's like, oh. Fucking hit his head hard, man. But yeah, like 99.9% of this match, it was Briscoe beating the shit out of Jericho.
Yeah, it really was.
And when Briscoe was finally about to end it, because he hit the Dre Driller, he did one more thing, pretty much put Jericho out. Jericho was done. He started climbing up the ladder. And of course, I forgot to say, like earlier on in the match, Brian Keith tried to do something, pretty much got thrown out. But of course, if Brian Keith and Big Bill don't show up, later on Big Bill's going to show up, and that's what happened. Big Bill showed up. He fucking destroyed Mark Briscoe. And he's trying to get Jericho to get his ass up. So he said, fuck it, I'm just going to carry him. So he picked up Jericho and carried him up the ladder, and Jericho got the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight title. So your new Ring of Honor champion is Chris Jericho. Which means there's probably a TV deal lurking.
Gross.
So yeah, go on, get your thoughts out.
I'm not gonna go super crazy. I've gone crazy on Jericho before. I refuse to right now. I feel like the match wasn't bad. I actually enjoyed the match for the most part, right? I wasn't really a fan of the finish. I don't like the assisted climbing up the ladder thing. AEW's done it before. I'm pretty sure other places have done it before. Not really a fan of it. I've never really been a fan of that, right? That's just, it's heel tactics, right? So I guess that's supposed to happen. and I talked about last week. I went on a big tirade. I am not a fan of Jericho being the Ring of Honor champion. I know there are a lot of people who are saying this, and some of it kind of feels like bad faith. But we talked about it before. We actually might have been the first people to talk about it. Funny enough,
Yeah.
we need the Ring of Honor championship to be in Ring of Honor a little bit more. Like it's defended Ring of Honor. Yes, we do have other, like Mark Briscoe just had a match like maybe a week ago for the Ring of Honor World Championship, right? Like it's a thing, it's around, but you know that no one in Ring of Honor is going to beat Briscoe for that title, because no matter what, you will see the Ring of Honor World Championship on TV on AEW more than you will see it in Ring of Honor. And at some point, and this isn't, look, Jericho can be champion, whatever. That's not even the part that I'm going to like freak out about. I think at some point there needs to be like more people in Ring of Honor winning the Ring of Honor World Championship. Because right now, the only title, there are two titles I could think of that have primarily been on Ring of Honor. It's the Women's World Championship, and it is the Women's TV Championship. Those are the only two championships that have been consistently off of AEW TV. Every other title, because now Lee showed up again, every other title from Ring of Honor can be seen and is sometimes defended on AEW TV. And at some point there needs to be a separation. Like if we want to do a TV deal, if Jericho got this to have the TV deal, fine. But that means Jericho needs to lose to somebody in a Ring of Honor ring, and the next champion after that needs to also lose to someone in a Ring of Honor ring. Like enough is enough.
Yeah, like I think like, so the weird thing about the women's championships, right? They're defended everywhere else.
Yeah, literally everywhere else.
Everywhere. Like Athena defended her title on Maple Leaf.
Yeah, this past weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, against Giselle Shaw
Mm-hmm.
in a banger of a match.
I need to watch. I haven't watched night 2 yet. I watched night 1, but I need to watch night 2.
Night 1 was pretty good.
It was really good.
Minus one match.
I skipped that match. I knew it was gonna be bad. I skipped over it. I didn't even watch it.
But yeah, man, like, and then Red Velvet was over in, what was it, CMLL this week?
Yeah.
Her and Willow.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the devil, the person we just gushed about for about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
She was also over there. So yeah, man, like, if those titles have to stay on Ring of Honor TV, the Ring of Honor World Championship and the Pure Championship need to stay over there also.
Yeah. I mean, if we're gonna be real, Brian Cage is the Ring of Honor TV champion, and he has been on TV more consistently with the Ring of Honor TV Championship than he has in the last like 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah, like when he was the Trios champion, he wasn't on TV that much. Because it was with him with the Gates of Agony.
But and then they also lost their Trios championships on AEW TV to the Bucks and Hangman. So like that's another thing where those titles didn't change hands in a Ring of Honor ring.
Yeah. And so did the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship.
Mm-hmm.
They lost that on a pay-per-view, on an AEW pay-per-view.
Yep.
Oh, no, wait. It wasn't AEW pay-per-view. It was Collision, right?
Yeah, it was AEW TV, yeah.
Yeah, it was AEW TV. It wasn't a pay-per-view.
Same with the trios.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just like I'm not even gonna be here bashing Jericho. The match was fine. Like, you know, like I said, I didn't like the ending of it, but that's just a personal opinion. That's not it, right? My right now, my main concern is if this is going to be for a Ring of Honor TV deal, if it's going to be for anything, the next Jericho should lose that title in Ring of Honor to someone in Ring of Honor. I mean, preferably someone who hasn't really been on AEW TV recently. But
Yeah.
it's business. It is what it is. But the Ring of Honor championships need to be in Ring of Honor more, and they're there. I'm not saying they're not, but a lot of title changes, a lot of things that are happening, don't happen in Ring of Honor. We don't need to do this. Just figure something out. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I totally get it. And one last thing.
Mm-hmm.
So after we learn Jericho is the new world champion, certain theme music starts playing.
My
That's
boy,
not Chris Jericho's.
my boy.
The guy I'm always happy to see on TV also. He showed up, the Pitbull, the Stone Pitbull, Tomohiro Ishii.
Yes.
And it was him and Rocky Romero. And they were on the ramp. And yeah, and Big Bill and Jericho are scared. I'd be scared too.
I'm guessing the first person that is going to challenge Jericho is going to be Ishii.
Yep, probably.
On AEW TV somewhere.
On Collision.
Yeah,
It's
probably. This one's even funnier because now Ishii's here. Oh boy, he's going to Japan. Rocky Moreira's in Japan right now. He's doing the Super Junior Tag League. So while the junior, they swapped off. They basically did a high five handoff, and just Rocky left. Ishii's in America.
So good. That's cool. And then when Ishii is about to go, he'll tag in fucking Suzuki.
And they'll come back because again, Suzuki hasn't really been on New Japan either. Like he's been traveling the world. He's been on Noah. He's done some indie Japanese shows. Been on AEW as the secret opponent 15 times. He's around.
If there's ever a secret opponent, just guess Minoru Suzuki, and you're probably right.
Exactly. And I will still be hype every time.
Yep. Oh shit! It's Suzuki.
What's he doing here? I thought he was supposed to be in Japan. I say that every single time, by the way. Every time I see him on AEW, he's supposed to be in Japan. No, he's not. He's traveling the world.
Yep. All right. So let's get up to the next spot. So the next part of the show was Adam Cole came out. And before we got story time with Adam Cole, baby, Roddy, of course, was like, Adam! Completely interrupted his shit. Him and the Undisputed Kingdom came into the ring. And pretty much this was like the Undisputed Kingdom going yo, we're here for you. We're, we originally all got together to fuck up MJF. That's what our goal was to mess up MJF. So we're still here. We're ready to join back up with you, so we can all get his ass together. And right about when they started talking about that, MJF shows up on screen getting a massage. And MJF was pretty much saying, hey, you remember he's pretty much remember that revenge that I was going to tell you I'm going to dangle in front of you that you're never going to get. So we find out that he's like, okay, you got to you got to win 3 matches in a row in order to get to me. You got to win all 3 of them. Either you, Roderick Strong, or you, Adam Cole, have to win 3 matches in a row. And whoever does win those matches, I'll go against them at Full Gear. And, after that, pretty much goes off. And then we see Kyle O'Reilly watching in the background.
Mm-hmm.
watching on the monitor. He's like, oh man, they turn baby faces now?
I can join them now. I know they were trying to recruit me for like 6 months, but they're good now. I want to join. I miss them.
Yeah, I missed the squad.
I think we talked about this before. I'm not as big a fan of this storyline. Like I don't know. It just, this is one of those ones that are like, to me, it's still wrestling, right? Like storytelling, whatever. This one is kind of weird because literally, like Adam Cole literally betrayed MJF, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
like we're not gonna forget that. Like, and Undisputed Kingdom, they all literally, they said it here. They teamed us together to say they were gonna end Max, but you know, on TV, Max was really happy to see Adam Cole all the time, and he was like wary of like Roddy and all them, but Adam Cole was his best friend. So we're just supposed to, and again, it's wrestling, right? You can't, it's not all going to be perfect. You're not going to be able to do everything, right? But now we just have to flip it. Now MJF came back and he was a villain because I guess because of Ospreay. You know, you all cheer for him, you don't cheer for me anymore. That bullshit, right? It's just not, unless they do like some kind of like wild, like they don't have to do a turn because MJF should always just be a heel. Like MJF should always just be a bad guy. Like that's just how that is. But they definitely need to do something to make this story more interesting to me. Because right now it's just, I'm not in, like Adam Cole is not right now, not a believable face to me. Roddy and the Undisputed Kingdom, funny enough, seem more believable because they're actively trying to get Beast Mortos out of LFI. So they seem more believable as babyfaces, despite the fact that they were also part of this plan. But yeah, I don't know. It's a little convoluted for me. I'm not that big of a fan of this one.
Yeah, I'm actually more of a fan of them trying to get Mortos out of LFI.
Same, bro. Actually, same.
That shit's so hilarious. You're like, you sure you don't want to join us? Here's a plate of meat.
They did this. They did the same thing on Collision too. They did Mike Bennett came out with another Mortos mask, and he was like speaking in Beast, and then Beast was looking at him. They were speaking to each other. Just, I love that. I kind of wish that they would have dropped the whole MJF and Adam Cole thing once MJF like dropped Adam Cole on his head back in Vegas. Like that would have been great. But
yeah,
if they have to do this, they have to do this. Just as long as we can keep the other story with the Undisputed Kingdom going on Collision, they can do whatever they want here. I don't care.
Yeah, like let's get the real storyline. Them trying to get Mortos.
Yeah.
They're trying to get Frank.
But what do you have any thoughts on this one?
I'm kind of in the same camp as you. I'm not the biggest fan of this storyline. I know some people like it, which is cool, but
yeah,
I'll just say this one is a little bit not for me because it's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird and disjointed, right? Like it doesn't seem like, I don't know. It just does. It's just weird. They would have been better off just dropping it completely and just have them fight over something else, right?
Yeah, like the opportunity was there, right? Like Adam Cole, like sadly he was injured for like a year, right? Like he was injured for part of this storyline too. They easily could have just dropped this. They could have. MJF could have did the whatever move he did. I just said the name of the move in Vegas, and they could have been done with it and moved on. I don't know.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see, the one thing I'm interested in seeing is where Kyle O'Reilly fits in this. You don't just show him for no reason, right? Like, where does Kyle O'Reilly fit in? Does he turn on the conglomeration at some point? Because there's been little hints of that.
I mean,
that he might do that.
We thought it was gonna happen before, right? Like when what was it when he called himself like the when he broke down what everyone in the conglomeration was, and like he called himself like the hothead or whatever he called himself. I don't forget now.
Oh no. So he did the Always Sunny in Philadelphia comparison.
Yeah,
So he's the wild card.
the wild card. There it is. The wild card. Yeah, I don't know. We've already talked about it. Like this story is probably just not for us. If people enjoy it, we're not here to tell people that they shouldn't enjoy it. That's not what we're here for. Just not for us.
Yeah, I'm ready for all of them to get to the next one, right? For MJF to break off and do his next one. I'm ready for Adam Cole to just get back in the mix. Like, get back wrestling, get in the mix, get into either the TNT title picture or, eventually world title. Who knows? I want him to get somewhere, out of the storyline.
Yeah, I think a really big test is I mean you're about to talk about it pretty soon anyway, but he's gonna be wrestling on Friday night. I won't say he's gonna wrestle because you're about to talk about it in a few minutes. But we're gonna see him in the ring for the first time in like a year, so we'll get a good glimpse of like how he's looking. He's probably gonna need a little bit of time to like get readjusted, so we'll just have to see where that goes.
Yep. So, okay, let's get into it. So the next interview was Renee caught up with Jamie Hayter. Backstage, she was talking about Penelope Ford. Um, Jamie Hayter is pretty much like, yo, Penelope Ford is pretty much full of shit. I was never handed anything. Never had anything handed to me, and that she pretty much earned everything, and that Penelope just wanted to attack her and ruin her chance at getting a world title shot. And she pretty much was like, "Hey, I'm here, and you're nowhere to be found." So she's like, "Yo, I'm calling you out 2 weeks from now, Dynamite. I'll be there. Where you at?" And you know what? That is pretty short and sweet. There's not much to say here other than I don't know. Penelope Ford's head might come clean off
Yeah.
2 weeks. So right after this is the trios match with the House of Black and guys that are about to die, victims. Kevin Koa, Jaden Monroe, Parada de la Muerte. You know what, man? These guys got names because they lasted like 30 seconds more than the other match with Brian Cage and Lance Archer.
Yeah.
Not much longer though. I was about to call that move the Black Mask. Shit. So right when the match started, out Malachi hits him with the fucking hits the first guy with the what's called the end, which was Black Mask um in WWE or NXT, whatever. Kicked that guy out the ring. The next guy ran up, he swept him. Buddy Matthews tagged in, stomped the shit out of the guy. And as he's stomping him, you hear the barks from Brody King. He's just barking as the guy is doing it. As Buddy Matthews is doing that. Uh, Brody King hits the senton. And yeah, literally like right after this, curb stomp from Matthews. And yeah, they got the pin. That's it. Match is over. The only reason it lasted a little longer than the other was because there was one more guy there.
Yep.
And Tony Schiavone was pretty much like, "Yo, House of Black didn't even break a sweat," and then Buddy Matthews was like, "Yo, now that you're cleared, next week, Adam Cole, it's gonna be me and you. Next week on Dynamite."
This
And
mhm.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry,
Go ahead.
sorry. This is what I'm interested in. I am very curious to see how Adam Cole's gonna wrestle against Buddy, because Buddy ain't no slouch. Like,
No, no.
sure, Buddy might I'm not even gonna say lost a step because he hasn't. Buddy can be phoning it in sometimes. He definitely seems like he's kind of like chilling, but Buddy gonna run you. Buddy gonna hit you. He also called Adam Cole fragile, which is
Yeah.
you know, we'll right now it doesn't really feel like that. It's that wrong, sadly. So
I mean, he's not wrong.
yeah. So I'm really curious to see what happens on Dynamite. I kind of hope that they open with it because I want to see Adam Cole immediately. I kind of want to see what he looks like after the ankle injury.
Yeah. Like, and that ankle injury was bad.
Yeah.
I didn't know how bad it was. Like, literally, the bone in his ankle disintegrated.
Off of,
Like,
and he jumped off something that is no higher than what he does for the Panama Sunrise.
right. So it's pretty much he was using and abusing it so much that it disintegrated at that point. It could have happened at any time.
Yeah.
Literally. He could have just like got off the toilet from taking a shit and then his ankle would have disintegrated. Anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yikes. So I'm glad he's back. I'm glad he was able to rehab and get back. Damn, that wow, just disintegrated. Not broke, disintegrated.
Mm-hmm. That's why it took a year for an ankle injury.
Yeah, and they had to literally put a new bone in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's why I'm curious.
Okay.
I'm curious to see what's gonna happen with him. But
Yeah,
that's next week.
That's next week, but he's cleared and everything, so they have a pretty, extensive clearing process. So I hope I think he's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll be good. He might be a little winded like the person in this next match.
Oh, okay. So then me and you agree on this then. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, no. We're going to get into this.
Mm-hmm.
So next match is Queen Aminata and the house with no stamina, Camille. I mean, that girl ain't got no stamina.
Bro, you talk about the match. We'll get into it after.
Okay. So this wasn't a very long match. I would say this is about an 8 to 10 minute match. Started off fast with Queen Aminata like fucked up Camille like right in the beginning. Bell rung, Aminata was across the ring, hitting Camille. Camille comes back, hits her with the lariat, and after that, they proceed to go back and forth. There was a lot of times when Queen Aminata, she was doing certain moves. Camille was so winded she couldn't hold Aminata to do the move. Like Aminata was doing like a hurricane, kind of like a Hurricane Rana, and it was kind of like Camille couldn't really hold on to her. It was to me it was kind of scary because Aminata could have landed on her head.
Yeah, was not great.
It was not good. There was just a lot of stuff like okay, so Queen Aminata, all of her stuff was amazing throughout the match.
Mm-hmm.
Camille was fine for the first like 3 minutes and got completely gassed. And then all of her stuff started getting real slow and real sloppy. Like the finish at the end where she did the Argentina backbreaker into the powerbomb and pinned Queen Aminata for the win. It was really, really slow. Like, I don't know, man. Like, and she was sucking wind like halfway like through the match. This isn't me exaggerating this shit. Like, if you watch the match, 5 minutes in, Camille is down sucking wind. Like it was bad.
It was like she ran a marathon.
Yeah. And they were going through the match like that. And I'm like, okay, you don't like this with Queen Amanada. Chris Statlander is like 5 levels above that.
And
How are you going to get through that?
it's also guaranteed to be a longer match too. Like
Yeah,
guaranteed.
guaranteed. Like, I hope Stat doesn't get hurt because of this, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's my fear is like Camille, gets winded and gassed and does something sloppy, and then Stat gets hurt, right? Um, but pretty much at the end of the match, Chris Statler comes down to the ring. Her and Camille have a standoff and have and Mercedes was like, oh, she was like, look at you, and then look at her, and all that type of deal, and then decides to hit Chris Statlander in the back. Chris Statlander wasn't phased at all, and then she knocked the shit out of Mercedes, and Mercedes like flew out of the ring, and then her and Camille started fighting. So like towards the end of the match, well, not the end of the match, towards the very very end, Camille, hits Chris Statlander and gets the upper hand at the end, and then the whole segment ends, and then immediately it goes to the group of idiots that are waiting for Moxley, and there's going to be a reason why I'm calling them idiots now. You'll hear why later. Um, and so SUV pulls up, and they're all ready for whoever's coming out of the car, and it's Christian Cage with the patriarchy. And they're sitting there and they're like, oh man, they were ready to get into some shit. Right after that, Renee caught up with Hook. And Hook said, all right, I'm going to get the people who hurt my dad. And they're the scumbags in the ring right now. And the people in the ring were Christian Cage and the patriarchy. Hook went after the patriarchy, of course, and Kip Sabian low blowed Hook, and Hook got the crap beat out of him right after that. It was just like Hook decided to go 1-on-3 and got his ass kicked.
Yeah,
That's pretty much what happened.
that boy ain't that smart.
No, and Christian Cage did the kill switch on his metal clipboard case thing with his contract on it. And he's telling, he's saying some cryptic shit like Moxley was saying. He's like, hey, listen to me. It's not what it seems. I'm like, huh? What's going on here?
Yeah,
Is there another level to the story that I don't know?
It's gonna be like with Moxley. It's gonna be like 18 different, not even 18. It's gonna be like 5 different layers of story, like it is with Moxley, and we're all gonna be wrong. He's gonna say something, and this is when Shane McMahon's actually gonna show up. I'm kidding.
No. Here comes the money. I'm like, oh, god damn it. But yeah, not bad. It was cool.
Yeah.
Next up, we had a trios match, and this was the main event. So Jack Perry and the Young Bucks versus Daniel Garcia and Private Party. I think this was one of the better matches of the night.
Yeah.
It's probably one of my favorite of the night. The Bucks and Private Party have so much good chemistry in the ring with each other. It's really showing now. It's really good. Really damn good. There were a lot of points where one side would do compromise the other, and then start hitting a bunch of big moves on like one person or the other. It kind of like switched off to that. But most of the time, it was whoever was feuding with the other, right? So a lot of times you had Daniel Garcia fighting Jack Perry. And then other times it would be either a single person from Private Party facing off with the Young Bucks, or a single person from the Young Bucks facing with Private Party, or both of them going at each other. It was always like that throughout the match. It like just interchanged. Um, the match ended up with Daniel Garcia and Private Party winning, and right after that, Zay he got the microphone and he was like, "Hey, Young Bucks, how about you give us a shot at those World Tag Team titles again? They're like, we had you, and you know it, and you guys are just cowards for not wanting to, accept the rematch." And the Young Bucks are like, "Nah, we're not interested." And they were walking out the ring. And he's like, "Wait. Let me offer you something you can't refuse." And the Young Bucks looked back and they were listening. And they were like, "Okay, if we lose, we break up Private Party forever. We both become singles stars." And, Matt Jackson's like, "Yeah, I like that." Of course he'll like it. Asshole. So they accepted. So, like the next match, I think it's going to be on Friday Night Dynamite.
Yes, it is.
Private Party versus the Young Bucks for the tag team titles. If Private Party loses, they break up forever. They said break up as a tag team, though, so they could just become a trios team with Daniel Garcia.
Yeah.
There was no caveat with that. They just said tag titles.
Don't worry. Don't worry. We don't have to worry about that anyway. It's fine.
And so, right after this, it zooms out. It goes to the parking lot again, where everybody is still waiting. These motherfuckers haven't drank or ate anything. They've been fueled with rage, waiting for Moxley and company to get down there. So, the truck that we always see on the promos and stuff like that with the BCC, it came down there, and the only person that popped out of the truck was Marina Shafir. She was sitting there, and she was looking at them, and guess who pulls up in the ring and starts beating up Private Party and Daniel Garcia.
Yeah, man.
The BCC. So I'm like, you idiots! You guys covered the one parking lot, but not the rest of the building.
Also, Moxley could have been there. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Marina shows up by herself, which means they were probably already in the building. Like, y'all were so bloodthirsty that y'all didn't even think about trying to search the arena. You just immediately went out to the parking lot and waited out there literally the entire show just to be tricked.
Yep. Bunch of idiots. And what happened is Moxley grabbed Chuck Taylor and tossed him into the ring. And at first, Wheeler Yuta put the chair on Chuck Taylor's leg. And Claudio was like, "Nah, fuck that. We're putting that chair around his neck." Claudio put the chair around his neck and then ran and stomped on him. And then Orange Cassidy got to the ring and they ran away. The BCC ran out. Orange Cassidy, is fucking distraught. And Moxley and crew get out, and that's the end of the show. That's how the show ends.
Man, one thing we didn't get to talk about because it's not on here is we had Chuck E. T. death flags earlier in Dynamite.
Oh yeah,
because there was a point where Chuck Taylor was out there with Orange Cassidy and everyone, and he was like, "Hey," he was basically like, "Man the fuck up," like None of them have beat them. You have. Man up, right? And that was, look, we used to be called the Anime Games and Pro Wrestling Podcast, and two of these coincided tonight because Chuck Taylor has some death flags on him the second that he said that.
Oh yeah, no, the second he said that,
and he got murdered.
Yep. So we're gonna have Super Saiyan 2 Orange Cassidy next week at Dynamite because he, I think it was announced on Collision, the beginning of Collision, because I caught the beginning of Collision. That Orange Cassidy is going to be at Dynamite. He's pretty much looking for a fight. He's looking for the BCC now.
We officially have Moxie's first challenger, right? It's right there. Finally.
Unless he has to go through all the BCC to get to him.
I mean, he's beaten them all before. We can do it again.
Yeah. And there's another thing I was noticing on Dynamite. After the House of Black, beat that team, and they started talking about them being one of the most winningest trio teams on TV. And I feel like Wheeler Yuta, Pac, and Claudio is going to have a problem. They're going to have a House of Black problem. House of Black doesn't even care about what's going on. They do care about them titles, though.
Oh, yeah.
So it kind of coincides. So they might have a problem later on.
I mean, they're kind of being rebuilt right now, right? Like, we haven't seen House of Black together in a while, and now we had a couple matches with them now. So, I mean, at some point, they are going to challenge for those trio titles. It's just at this point, it's about when. Probably maybe Full Gear. That'd be a good one to have there.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. Yeah, that's not a good problem to have if you're BCC. Because they're going to fucking terrorize you until they get it. And probably, I can see it happening because I can see them doing the match, and then Marina Shafir will probably be interrupting in the match. But Julia Hart comes out as the equalizer.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Julia Hart's good to go. She's ready to fight.
I miss seeing her on TV. I'm happy that she's almost ready to go.
Oh, she said she's cleared. She's ready.
Bring her back already.
Yeah. But yeah, that was AEW Dynamite.
We hit at the top of the show. Like, this was an alright episode of Dynamite. Like, this was definitely probably the weakest of the 3 shows for AEW this week. But, not all of them are going to be home runs, like we said.
Yeah, but this was for sure the weakest one. I think the next show is actually the best show of the week.
I really did like Rampage, actually, too. I agree. I can get into that right now, actually.
Yes, sir.
To start, we had the first time a Rampage match has been built in a while. We had a tag team 3-way match between the Undisputed Kingdom, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, Gates of Agony, Toa Leona, and Bishop Khan, who we talked about a couple weeks ago. Cough, cough. And Shane Taylor Promotions, which is Lee Moriarty, the Ring of Honor Pure Champion, and Shane Taylor, who we also talked about a couple weeks ago. Cough, cough. This one seems like it was just trying to get some momentum in the tag team division. I'm not going to talk about the match too much. It definitely was a good match. You definitely should, if you haven't watched it, you definitely should watch it. Bishop Khan and Toa Leona did knee strike and a hip attack, and Taven ended up getting a blind tag and hit Lee Moriarty with the frog splash to win. So basically, Undisputed Kingdom stole this, and this is the first big Undisputed Kingdom TV win in a long time. So
Actually, a very long time. They've been losing a lot lately.
They've been losing a lot. So it's good to see them get this win. As much as I would have preferred Gates of Agony, because they're the only ones who aren't tied up with anything right now to win this one. I get it, so we'll see where this goes. We don't really have ranking anymore, right? So we can't see where this is, but this was a good win for the tag team division. right after that, we had 2024's most improved Anna Jay facing Layla Gray. This was actually a nice little back and forth match. It wasn't super long, right? Anna Jay hit Layla Gray with a knee strike. Eventually, Layla fired back and hit a flipping neckbreaker on her. Didn't really work. Anna got up and hit her with a snap suplex, which was kind of snappy, actually. It was a pretty good suplex. Anna, I think she heard us last week. She started working on her strikes. She was hitting Layla with a couple forearms. They're still not like super great yet, but they're looking a lot better than they did a couple weeks ago. Anna Jay also got a drop kick, and at this point, she basically just kind of had this match locked up, right? Eventually, Anna Jay gets her up and hits Layla with the gory bomb. They did call it the Will's Peak on Saturday, which was funny because, you know, Anna Jay's gonna wrestle again. Definitely not the Will's Peak, right? Will's Peak is a little bit different, but Anna Jay ends up winning the match, and she takes the mic. She says that she will see Mariah May next weekend because they do have the match for the AEW Women's World Championship. While that was happening, Deonna Purrazzo and Taya Valkyrie were watching. So this is the first time I actually saw them in the arena in a little while. But they were watching the match between Anna Jay and Layla Gray.
Yep.
Anything on this one?
No. But I'm interested to see where that goes, right? Like, Deonna Purrazzo is looking at somebody. She might be looking at getting Anna Jay. I don't know. Somebody.
Yeah. I mean, she was watching the match, right? So, it definitely does kind of feel like that Top Flight's going to be breaking up pretty soon because of what we're going to be talking about a little bit later. So she could have been looking at Layla Gray, but I don't know. They were watching the match, so we'll see where that goes probably in a couple weeks on Rampage. Next up, we have two fan favorites. The Beast Mortos was out there with Jalisco and Roosh against Beef. With JD Drake was there. There was a backstage segment where Beef was kind of talking to the backstage person. I don't think it was Renee. It might have been. I don't remember, to be completely honest. JD Drake shows up because Anthony Henry just had surgery, so he's hurt. But that means we have JD Drake back. He went out there with Beef to be his backup against the Beast Mortos. And let me tell you, Beef kind of landed pretty awkwardly on a couple things. Like, it looked like he hit the back of his head like 4 times.
Yep.
Like, the Beast was just kind of slinging him around. There was, it just was not great. Like, it looked like that shit hurt. Beef, near the end of the match, Beef was looking for his finishing move, which is called the Kentucky Meat Shower.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I don't know. But Roosh ended up interfering. He knocked Beef off the top turnbuckle, and this was happening while Jalisco interfered with the ref. Beast Mortos just laid out Beef and got the pinfall. So Mortos won this one. He had to cheat to beat Beef. After the match, LFI goes in there and starts beating up Beef. They're looking at JD Drake. JD Drake's like, nah, man, I don't want no fucking problems. I'm good. Y'all beat up Beef. I'm not involved. But it's Roosh. You out there, you were cheering his family's opponent. He gonna get you too. So he got the cords, choked out JD Drake, laid JD Drake and Beef both out, and LFI has completely lost it. They are very vicious and very violent right now.
Yeah.
Main event time. We didn't see Ricochet too much on Dynamite because he was going to be on the other 2 shows. Our Rampage main event was Ricochet versus Nick Wayne. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
This was a match.
Hell yeah, it was.
Man. Nick Wayne was being his little 18-year-old, 19-year-old heelish self. He got out of the ring. He was trying to stall. Ricochet did end up taking over. He ended up getting him to get him in there. Eventually, Nick Wayne kind of outsmarted Ricochet, actually, and hit Ricochet with the DDT on the ramp on the outside. And he was out there just yamping it up. He was so happy he was doing what he was doing. Didn't work, though. Eventually, Ricochet did come out. He was able to get back into the ring and start the match again. Nick Wayne eventually did get at Ricochet's eyes. And while they were on the top turnbuckle, Ricochet headbutted Nick Wayne, made him go to the mat. Nick Wayne ran up and then hit him with a dragon suplex for a near fall. Like I said, a lot of things were happening in this match. But I kind of want to talk about the end of the match because we saw something different from Ricochet.
Mm-hmm.
So Ricochet did hit the vertigo, and he did the spinning version, which is nice. He's keeping it, which is great. Usually that's what ends the match.
Mm-hmm.
Not this time. Ricochet backs up to the corner, and everyone's looking like, huh? What's he about to do? He has a gun. He has his hand out as a gun, points at him, runs towards Nick Wayne, and hits him with the inside of his elbow. So it was like a reverse hidden blade that Ricochet did.
Yeah.
It looked nasty. And that's what got Ricochet the win.
It looked like a car crash. That's what it looked like. The way he flew at him and hit him and he spinned around. He kind of spinned when he hit him too.
Yeah.
It bent him. It was yeah. The move looked cool as shit though.
That shit looked nasty. It's just a reverse hidden blade. That's really all it is. Just inside of the forearm instead of the outside.
But there was another move that happened in this match that was fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Wayne did the so he got Ricochet, put both arms like he was gonna do a Tiger Driver, and then did a Canadian Destroyer.
That's so good.
Tiger Canadian Destroyer. What?
That shit was so good.
It was awesome. That I'm telling you, and I think I've said this I said this I think I said this a month ago or a couple months ago. Nick Wayne is really good.
They call him a project for a reason, right?
Yeah, he's AEW did the right thing and signed him the second he hit 18.
Yeah, they had the contract waiting for him. He was Darby presented him with a contract when he was 16.
Yeah, him and there's two, him and Billy Starks.
Yep.
And those two contracts are paying dividends.
Yeah, they are. You have a very young face who's really good in AEW. You have another young face that's about to be more than likely the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion in Billy Starks down in Ring of Honor doing great work also.
Yeah, they're both doing amazing work. So, yeah. Yeah, oh man, yeah. Nick Wayne, he's gonna he's learning from everybody, and you could see it in when they finally let him go and let him do all of his thing and stuff like that. That guy's gonna be insane. He already is insane, but he's gonna be even more insane.
I can't wait. I do enjoy him being with Christian because he looks like just an asshole. So it's really good that he's there. Him with Christian really works right now. I kind of hope that they stick around for a little while. So it's been a while. It's been a year. I definitely want this to keep going though.
No, well, that's something you want though, right? You want somebody pair up with some a veteran like Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you want that.
It's already making Nick Wayne look a lot better, right? He was already good before, but now you can see he's really good at healing it up, especially in this match. He was just great.
Yeah, it's more methodical in what he does. He did he slowed his style down just if that match was fast anyway, but he did slow his style down a little bit more. to be a little bit more methodical in what he does.
I think it's a good thing because like you know how Ospreay was when he was like younger, right? He wasn't like that age, but Ospreay was going like 100 miles an hour all the time, so he was getting hurt a lot. So it's better that Nick Wayne is not taking that from Ospreay, because we need Nick Wayne around for a long time. He's gonna be great. He's already great. He's gonna be just insane in like 10 years, bro.
Oh yeah, no, he's gonna be ridiculous. Like, and even what's her name? Billy Starks is gonna be also gonna be like ridiculously good.
Neither of them are 20 years old yet, by the way.
Yeah. She started the thing with when I think like literally she started doing Ring of Honor right when she graduated high school.
Yeah. And she's about to be women's champion soon. In one of the best storytelling one of the best stories told in Ring of Honor
that no one's seen.
I wish they would bring that forward. I get you need a reason to watch Ring of Honor, right? Right now, Athena and Billy Starks are the reason to watch Ring of Honor. But God, do I wish that they could be on like AEW TV a little bit more.
Yeah, same here. Same here. And there's storylines I wish that were on Ring of Honor that could have been on AEW TV.
Mm-hmm.
Like Dalton Castle. I've said it. Dalton Castle and fucking
Johnny TV.
Johnny TV. They should have had that whole thing on like regular on AEW TV.
I still think the most hilarious thing about that was when Johnny TV like posed and then he got dragged away into the night, basically.
Yeah, Taya Valkyrie drags him away.
Yeah.
So good. Or like, yeah, I could talk about that shit all day because it's like, there's that part where he's getting interviewed by Lexi Nair and she asks him, "Oh, will you give Dalton Castle a match?" He's like, "No, I'm not going to give him a match. Why should I? I've already beat him." And all of a sudden, you see Dalton Castle's in the background. He's like, "No!" And then he starts running after him, and then Johnny TV is like doing parkour and like running away from him. I'm like, this shit should be on TV. I don't care. This shit's hilarious.
What we're saying, y'all, is if you're not watching Ring of Honor, there's a reason why we want all those titles to be on Ring of Honor. Give Ring of Honor a chance. Watch a couple episodes. You probably will really enjoy it. It's a fun time. I don't get to watch it every week either, but it's worth trying to get in there and watch it like at least a couple times a month,
Yeah, it's like watching TNA for me. They're like usually solid episodes, and they got a decent mixture of everything.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part. So yeah.
We are going to move on to Collision.
Oh yeah.
This show was actually really stacked. There was a lot of matches on the show. It feels like Collision kind of found where they are now. Like they found like what Collision should be. And there is like some story progression for sure, but they haven't used this in a while. And it's on this page actually. Like this is Saturday Night Collision is the night for the sickos. You want wrestling? You want them to shut up and just wrestle? Watch Collision.
Yep.
And this night is for the sickos because of the opening match. The opening match was Shane Taylor versus Jay White.
Mm-hmm.
Man, look, you want an example of Switchblade being a good babyface? It's right here. He was fighting from the bottom because you can't get the jump on Shane Taylor. That's just not going to work.
Nope.
Shane Taylor basically just like handed Jay White his ass for the first few minutes. Mm-hmm. Just hitting him hard, chopping, hitting some punches, getting some headlocks in there. Like Shane Taylor was doing what he had to do. Eventually Jay White did come back. He was able to get some offense in. He tried for a sunset flip. He flipped over him and tried to like get him down. That shit wasn't gonna work. Have you seen Shane Taylor? That's a big boy. You're not gonna sunset flip Shane Taylor. So Shane Taylor tried to sit out. It didn't work. He ended up missing. Then Jay White comes in. He starts hitting some punches, hitting some chops. Eventually gets him with the dragon screw, the leg whip. And at this point, Jay White had taken over. Jay White was actually able to get Shane Taylor up, albeit barely, for the Uranagi. He was able to get up there. He was able to get him. Lee Moriarty jumped on the apron to try to get a distraction for Shane Taylor, but Juice was out there with him, and Juice like comedically pulled Lee Moriarty's leg out, and it looked like Lee was like at a 90-degree angle in the air before he came down and hit the apron.
Oh shit!
Just hilarious. Eventually, Jay White was able to hit the Blade Runner and got the 1-2-3. Right after this, Jay White took a mic, and it's still weird. It's still weird, but he was like running down Hangman. He was saying that basically, you had an amazing year, but you're stuck on me because you know you can't really beat me. Then he talked about Hangman's knee, saying that he was at home like rehabbing, and this is when he challenged Hangman to a match at Full Gear.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna see what happens, but it looks like the match is official. So I don't know if we're gonna see Hangman before that, most likely, but that's our match for at Full Gear: Hangman versus Jay White. Then right after this, we get Lexi Nair back there with Ricochet. Because Ricochet, like I said, he was barely on Dynamite, but he on the other shows this week.
Mm-hmm.
He was asked about the card that he got from MVP. He talked about how much history that he has with MVP. But then Leo Rush walks up and was like, yo, you shouldn't overlook me. I got a card too. Just don't disrespect me. Don't underestimate me. And Ricochet was like, I'm not. All right, bro. You're good. We'll have the match. Chill. After that, we got another Lexi Nair segment, but this time with Kyle Fletcher. And this is the point where you see that hairline. You see it. It's pushing back on the sides. He needs to let it go. So he did it early. Knocked it out. You don't have to worry about it. He did use this time to call out Will Ospreay again for Wednesday. He said that Will Ospreay's probably scared, even though he hit him with the Tiger Driver. You know, you're not going to be able to get up from that right away. Probably shouldn't. So we'll see. He said he wants to face someone because he's not only the future, he's the now. So probably, I'm guessing Collision, he's going to have a match, but we don't know exactly what that is yet. We'll probably find out pretty soon.
Yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm. Right after this, we got a returning Penelope Ford wrestling against Robin Renegade. This made me remember how much I miss Penelope Ford. She has like a different kind of style. She's like a little bit less flippy than Lady Frost, but she still used that gym. I think she has like a gym's background. She definitely used that in her wrestling. Penelope did win the match. I don't have to get too much into it. The match wasn't like super great, but fun enough. Jamie Hayter appeared on the screen after the match and basically just said, remember, you and me, November 6th Dynamite, which is, we'll have to talk about that day. That's probably gonna be a crazy day in America. I mean,
yep.
Yeah. Well, I might not be able to watch Dynamite that day, but we will. We can talk about that a little bit later. Yeah, they're just confirming their little mini feud they have going on right now. We saw Jamie, we saw Penelope. They're gonna wrestle in a couple weeks. Anything on anything so far?
No. I think I'm interested mainly seeing is just who Kyle Fletcher's going to go against on Collision, probably next week's Collision. real interested to see who he's going against.
Yeah, I am too. We'll see what happens to Ospreay Wednesday, because you know Ospreay's gonna be there. Like he's just not gonna not show up. He's gonna be there.
Yeah.
So we'll get that. We'll see what's gonna happen there. Next up, we had MXM Collection versus the Outrunners. Right before this, though, it's not on this page, but we had a little backstage segment with the Outrunners and FCR, and basically, and low-key kind of weirdly, FCR was saying that the Outrunners, y'all are up next. You guys are going to get your momentum. You're going to win the AEW Tag Team Championships. And they basically did their Outrunner stuff in the back. You know, we don't have to talk about it too much.
Yeah.
As for the match, I'm gonna sound really hipster. Match wasn't really that great. We got the Outrunners doing the Outrunner things, which was fun, right? They're always gonna be fun. MXM were in it. They kind of went back and forth. I mean, but eventually the Outrunners did win the match with Total Recall, which is their finisher.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is an upset. I don't think it is. I guess it's not, because I guess Outrunners are established a little bit more right now than MXM. But right now it seems like the Outrunners are on a chase for the AEW World Tag Team Championships.
Huh.
Right? It's a little weird, right?
Yeah. I can see it though. They give him a little bit of push. They maybe challenge for it a couple of times. They don't necessarily win it. They just have them chasing for a while.
Yeah. Which is going to be fun, because Outrunners, they're a fun team, right? Like, a lot of people enjoy them. I know right now they're kind of, with the whole Moxley story, it does kind of feel like disjointed, because they are being themselves. They were being themselves before, right? So I guess people are kind of seeing that, but let's still the Outrunners. It's still fun. Also, if you're going to say that about Outrunners, you kind of got to say that about MXM also, because they are kind of goofy. They do get down to it in the ring. They're very serious in the ring, but they are pretty goofy.
Oh, yeah. No, that's MXM is super goofy. Like, they're super goofy until they get into the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, it's a switch. Like, they just get serious all of a sudden.
I will be excited to see, like, a couple big wins for MXM, because I don't think they've had a big win in a while. They have been helping people. Like, they are, like how we were talking about with, like, Queen Aminata, and how we were talking about with the other people that we were talking about, like Willow and them, where you probably shouldn't be able to have a bad match with MXM because they're very good.
Yeah.
So they're in that spot where they can help out any tag team, and it's just, I can't wait to see them win a couple more. I think we will at some point.
Yeah, eventually get them into contention too, because there's no way MXM Collection never gets in contention for the tag titles. Just no way possible.
Yeah, we have to see it at some point, right? But at the same time, it took Private Party 5 years. I mean, grant a lot of injuries in between it, but 5 years is a long time also.
Yeah, but it probably would have been shorter if Mark Quinn didn't get hurt.
They had to deal with a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
Right after the match was one of my favorite parts of Collision. We had a sit-down interview with Wheeler Yuta and Nigel McGuinness.
Ooh, yeah. I watched that interview.
Bro. Right now, Nigel still hates Bryan Danielson. Like, that is not a question, right? But he kind of established, like, what his rivalry with Danielson is in here. He asked Wheeler Yuta, why did you do that? And then one of the lines that Wheeler said was, I thought you of all people would understand. What's the matter, Joker? Are you mad that we killed Batman before you did? I gave him a warrior's death. We took him out because he doesn't have the stomach for this. The American Dragon you knew was long dead by the time I got to the ring at Wrestle Dream. We had to do it for the greater good. And Nigel was not messing with that answer. He did not like that. Like he said, Nigel said he never wanted to hurt him. He just wanted to prove that he was better than him, which was, Nigel has. You know how much you have to hate Danielson for Nigel to be the voice of reason in the situation.
Yeah.
Wheeler Yuta also went on to say, I'm just gonna read it verbatim again. Do you think I take joy in any of the things I'm doing? No, I do them because I have to. Where would I be without Moxley, Claudio, Pac, and Marina? We have no choice. We do what we have to do. And if we're willing to do that to people we love, what do you think we're going to do to people that we don't? We do it for the greater good. So, I mean, at this point, we know what Moxley's doing, right? We know Moxley's running roughshod. Moxley is basically being like do you ever watch Code Geass? No, huh? I was about to spoil Code Geass, and I'm not going to do that. He was basically being like the guy. Moxley and all of them are being like the guy, right? You put all their hatred onto them. We will see where this goes. We like you said, Orange Cassidy's gonna be talking on Wednesday. We will see where that goes.
Yeah. Yeah, it was that was a damn good interview between the two. And it was the thing Nigel brought out was like, he's like, I didn't want to cripple him or anything like that. I just wanted to show him I was the better wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
That was my whole point in it. Not for anything else other than that. And he was pretty much saying like, yo, you guys like took it way too far beyond what I would have ever taken it to. So yeah, it was damn good.
What? Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I said they're building that story.
I mean, we're gonna see where it's going, right? Like again, we still haven't seen Moxley with the title. We know that the BCC is running roughshod on AEW. It's gonna have to go somewhere. We're gonna have to see the title. Moxley's gonna have to defend it at some point. We're gonna see where this is going sooner rather than later.
Yep.
Next up, Ricochet wrestled Lio Rush. Top Flight was with Lio. The notes say that Lio was very aggressive at the start, but they don't really talk about what he did. So I am going to just say what Lio did at the beginning of the match, which is what we were talking about why Lio was wrestling a little heelish. Ricochet hits Lio Rush. Lio Rush looks like he's like out, right? Like he looks like Tua Tagovailoa, where he has his arms out. It looks like he has a concussion. Ricochet's kind of like standing back. He's like, okay, what's going on? Eventually, Ricochet tries to help Lio Rush up, and then Lio Rush uses that time to take advantage and throws Ricochet out of the ring and takes advantage of the match. Very heelish.
Yeah.
The other part I'm going to talk about is Ricochet's Blue Thunder Bomb reversal on Lio Rush.
Good Lord.
Ricochet hit that thrust kick and then hit him with that Blue Thunder Bomb and then looked in the camera. Looking at Takeshita. Lio hit Ricochet with a Poison Rana. It wasn't enough. Ricochet was able to bounce out of it. Lio Rush eventually got out of the ring, and again, he was being aggressive. He grabbed a chair, by the way. Lio Rush grabbed a chair. Didn't end up using it. But Ricochet ended up cracking Lio Rush with the vertigo. And then using that hidden blade variant. I don't know what he's going to call it. Hopefully he doesn't call it something like stupid. Hopefully it's not something super weeby. But he hit Lio Rush with that. Got the win. And yeah, that's the match. Lio did seem like really mad at the end of it, but you know, this is where we are, right? Lio seems like he's frustrated. The backstage comments, I didn't get to hear all of them really, but Leo also sounded like he was frustrated. He said enough is enough in those comments. So something's gonna be changing with Top Flight very soon. We're probably gonna see what it is soon.
Yeah. It might be Weavish because even the Hidden Blades Weavish, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Hidden Blade's like Assassin's Creed-ish.
Yeah,
so
the Hidden Blade
definitely nerdy.
Creed.
It's definitely still nerdy.
Yeah.
He's gonna call that shit like the fucking he likes Attack on Titan. Or he might
He likes anime in general.
Anime in general. He watches One Piece also. What would he name it?
Don't know. We'll find out.
What would that be? Like, what kind of hit is that? I don't know. We'll find out the name soon at some point. Someone should ask him on Twitter, and he should answer it. We'll see what it is. Right after this, we had 2 backstage segments. I'm gonna hit back to back. Lexinair was in the back with Harley Cameron, who had her face painted like a cat. Right? Harley was talking shit about Thunder Rosa. Which, surprise, surprise, Thunder Rosa walked in. Like, you haven't been around for a while. Where have you been? Thunder Rosa basically scared Harley and challenged her for a match next week. I don't know where it is. It's most likely going to be Collision. So we're going to be seeing Harley Cameron and Thunder Rosa pretty soon. And then right after this one, we got Undisputed Kingdom again. They call for time with the Beast Mortos. On camera right away was Roddy and Mike Taven. Or Matt Taven. My bad. I keep on doing that. I don't know why I keep on doing that. Taven gave Mortos candy. He was like, okay, we tried to give you like meat last week. That didn't work. Here's some candy. So Beast takes it. He's like looking. And then Lexi Nair takes a piece of candy and she starts eating it on camera, which is hilarious. They're like, okay, this isn't working. Mike Bennett comes out with the mask on, like I was talking about earlier, and he's speaking to Beast. Beast is kind of speaking to him back, but it doesn't work. Like, they just kind of walk off. The Beast is just kind of standing there looking at the candy, and that's the end of that segment.
It's just speaking Beast to him.
Remember, he can understand.
Yeah, he can understand Beast.
So I like I said, this is my favorite story that Undisputed Kingdom is involved in right now. It's just trying to recruit Mortos. They don't have to wrestle. Don't even wrestle. Do this for like a month, a couple more months. Right after this, we had Anna Jay versus Viva Vaughn, and I want to give a very disrespectful shout out to the dude in the front row who had a Anna Jay has not improved sign. Fuck that guy. Bought a front row seat just to be a douchebag. He was in front row. He made sure that Anna could see it. She didn't worry about it, which is nice. But fuck that dude, that fucking douchebag. Anyway, it was a pretty short match. Anna Jay did end up beating Viva Vaughn. To no one's surprise. This is where they called it the Widow's Peak. It's still the Gory Bomb. The Widow's Peak, she just kind of comes down. Gory Bomb, she flattens out the opponent. But yeah, so I guess they might call us the Widow's Peak, I guess. It's funny because I think we called it Widow's Peak on the podcast a couple weeks ago. And it just happens to be the Widow's Peak on AEW TV now. All of a sudden.
I don't know.
No, okay. They listen to us even when we're wrong, which is wild. They don't have it here, which is annoying. But right after the match, we hear from Mariah May. And this promo is probably one of Mariah May's best promos.
Easily.
She was talking about how NJ isn't good enough to be there. She's not good enough to beat her. I am doing this a disservice. If you haven't watched that promo, please sit down and watch that promo. Again, Mariah May's best promo in AEW easily.
Yep.
After that, Lexi Nair was backstage again with Ishii and Kyle O'Reilly. This is basically where we confirmed, right? We think that Ishii is going to be wrestling Jericho for the Ring of Honor title. It seems like it's kind of confirmed. So we'll see what happens there.
Yep.
And then we go to the main event. Roosh and Dralistico versus FTR. LFI versus FTR. And this is one of those like knockdown, drag out, really good FTR main event matches that they have on Collision. I know people don't like FTR.
What?
I know. It's out there.
Okay.
But y'all are stupid if you don't think they are not one of the greatest tag teams on the planet. They're so good.
Yeah, yeah, fuck those people.
Yeah.
Like, no way. There's no fucking way. Like they're so damn good. I don't care if it's a thing where it's the thing where you're tired of seeing them on TV. I don't give a shit. They're still good. They're still like one of the, I would say easy, like top 10, top 5 tag teams of all time. Easy. Like
Easily.
as far as tag team specialists go. Like you break it down as like tag team specialists, they're easy. Top 5. Easy.
Easily. Yes.
In the upper end of the top 5, like, as tag team specialists. Not like some weird made up team. No, these guys have been tag teams the whole time. And yeah, they're easily one of the best tag teams.
There's a reason that they won titles literally everywhere they've been. Everywhere. Yep. I'm not gonna break this match down. This again, I would do a very big disservice if I tried to break this down. So if you haven't watched this match, please do. FTR did end up winning by hitting Dralistico with the Shatter Machine.
Uh-huh.
After the match, Beast Mortos attacked FTR. Beast Mortos was out there already. Jake the Snake was actually also out there, which was nice to see all 4 of them together for LFI. Eventually, Outrunners hit the ring to help FTR. They got LFI out of there, and then they did their poses, and that's how Collision ended. What are your thoughts on Collision overall?
Man, Collision overall felt good, right? I got to watch. What I got to watch was half of Collision before I had issues with Sling. So, but yeah, like you said at the top, Collision found its identity, and now it's more apparent, and now you see it. Like it is, it's a different type of show than Dynamite, which is good, and it's like it's a very distinct thing now. It is like a heavy wrestling based show, more of a old school style, if you ask me, in a way.
I can see that.
But yeah, no, it was a good show. It was like between that and Rampage, those were probably like the best 2 shows this week. Dynamite wasn't bad. It was, as I said, it was a solid show. But yeah, those 2 are probably like the better of the 2. Out of the AEW shows this week, Rampage and Collision were the better 2.
Yeah. No, I fully agree with you. Like I said, like Dynamite wasn't even that bad. People just start freaking out whenever there's like a normal episode of TV. Like it's just weird. Y'all calm down. But for sure, Rampage and Collision were the better shows this week. And if we're gonna be honest, both Rampage, maybe less of an extent to Rampage, but Rampage and Collision have to like identify themselves, right? Because they got the new TV deal. They need to know what those shows are going to be. They can't just be floating around. Like Collision can't be floating around like it was early this year, right?
Right.
They definitely found where they are. That this is the wrestling show. Like, of course, there's matches on Dynamite, but this is the wrestling show where you want crazy matches, you want really good stuff. This is the show to watch.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're also doing it more too because Rampage is going away this year.
Rest in peace.
So
it's gonna send a shockwave to AEW.
Yeah. Watch that be another 2-hour show.
That'd be crazy.
Right?
I mean, but now with they're getting like more stars on Rampage now than they were before, so it would be good. And plus, now they're taping. This Collision was live, but they've been taping Collision more consistently on like Thursdays. So it could be like a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday thing, right? Where they do Dynamite on Wednesday, they tape Collision on Thursday, and then on Friday they do like live Shockwave or something. Like we don't even know what Shockwave is yet, but we'll see.
Well, one thing I saw it the other day. I think they were talking about for Collision, they're going to start doing tapings at that one place again in Texas.
Oh, in the Esports Arena?
Yeah, I think they're going back there.
Hell yeah.
So you never know. That might turn into like a residency there.
I hope so. Those shows were really good there too.
Yeah.
That's also where Captain Collision was minted.
Yep. Where he appeared for the first time.
All right. Before we end, I'm gonna do something a little bit different.
Oh?
A little different.
What you doing?
We have the card for Dynamite because they've been doing those Dynamites early.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go down the card and I'm gonna put you on the spot to say who you think is gonna win the matches.
Okay. Let's get it.
First up, Swerve Strickland versus Shelton Benjamin.
Shelton Benjamin.
I say Swerve.
I think it's Shelty. Shelty B.
All right. We're gonna see what happens on Wednesday.
Yep.
Probably the easiest match to get. Camille versus Chris Statlander.
It's Statlander.
Yeah, Chris, easily. We're gonna hear from Hangman, so we're gonna hear about what's gonna happen there. Adam Cole versus Buddy Matthews.
This is probably the easiest one of the whole card. Adam Cole.
Easily, right? Easily. Orange Cassidy's going to be there live on Dynamite. Probably going to be confronting Moxley.
Okay, and then like whoever he has a match with, Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, you know he's probably going to wrestle Orange Cassidy. And then finally, this is the last one on here, but it might as well be the main event. It's going to be my main event. AEW World Tag Team Championships, Young Bucks versus Private Party. If Private Party loses, they split up.
All right, you ain't gonna like what I have to say.
Don't you dare.
We're gonna be divided on this one.
Yeah, we are.
Young Bucks.
Private Party got this. They better not break up Private Party, bro. I swear to God. We went through all this just for them to break up? No.
But who knows? You know, Young Bucks could drop it, Joel, but I feel like the Bucks are going to win.
We'll see. I mean, the Young Bucks have broken up a tag team before. You know, SCR. What is it, SCR? No.
SCU?
SCU. SCR is, I think, like a fighting game tournament, actually.
Yeah, SoCal Regionals?
Yeah. Yep. I was thinking of fighting games. SCU.
Stop it. You haven't played fighting games like you here. Stop it.
No, I really haven't. I don't know where that came from. That was weird. But that is the Dynamite card. So by the time you're hearing this, Dynamite will probably be either today or tomorrow. Yeah, that's the podcast. You have any final thoughts on anything before we wrap this?
Oh man, I think there was more announced stuff. So
there probably was on Twitter. I got this from like the AEW website. There might be more.
Yeah. There was some more matches announced for like Collision.
Let's see. Let me see if I can find those really quick. AEW. I wish they just had these like out somewhere.
Yeah, I wish they had it on like the main page, or you know.
Let's see. They're showing I've seen the card for Dynamite for Friday Night Dynamite like 8 times. Oh, okay. Saturday, November 2nd. Kyle Fletcher versus Commander.
Uh-huh.
Who you got?
Kyle Fletcher.
Easily, right? That's gonna be his like first big match. Commander, sorry, you're gonna die.
He's gonna kill Commander, dude.
We have a Day of the Dead match between Thunder Rosa and Harley Cameron.
Complete bias in me will say Harley Cameron, but I know it's Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, a Day of the Dead match, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Telemorte match? Yeah, no, it's gonna be Thunder Rosa.
And I think that might, I'm scrolling just to make sure, but I think that might be it. Cause this is all Collision stuff. Yeah, that's it for right now, I think.
Okay, I thought I saw like 2 more women's matches.
I know eventually, like in a couple weeks, we're gonna have Jamie Hayter versus Penelope Ford. I think that's Dynamite, not this week but next week.
Right, right.
I think this week, are we getting Anna Jay and Mariah May this Saturday?
I think so. And then I thought there was one with Taya Valkyrie. I could have sworn I saw Taya Valkyrie going against somebody on next Collision.
I can't find it, but I bet she was somewhere. I don't. Only place I have is Twitter, so I can't find it yet. But this is possible. She was just on TV, right? So
Yeah.
I can see her in a match soon.
Yeah, for sure. Like, yeah. Next time, like, the second I see him, I'm just gonna send them to you so we have them.
Yeah. I wish there was a better way for us to see these matches, but you know, it is what it is.
Yep.
But that's our show. I'll wrap this one up.
Oh, are you sure?
Yeah, I got you. I got you on this one.
You heard it today? All right.
Yeah, I got it. I got you.
Step back. Don't step back.
First off, thank you all for listening. If you're here at this point, make sure you give us a like. Make sure you comment. If you have any questions for us, definitely let us know. If you have some insight on things that we might have missed or things that you want us to talk about on the podcast, throw in the comment. Let us know. Like I said, make sure you like the video. Share it with all your friends. Let them know that we're here. Let them know that the best wrestling podcast on the planet is recording right now, and you listen to the end of it. Also, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure so you can get all of our videos. We do anime podcasts, we do gaming podcasts, and we do wrestling podcasts. If you're not into wrestling, we definitely got something for you here. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and get those. And with that is all for us. Unless Proffitt has another surprise announcement this week.
I got nothing this week.
All right. And that's the show.
Maybe next week, but not this week.
Then that's the show, y'all. Thank y'all so much, and we'll talk to you next week. Peace out.
We out.